As survivors of narcissistic abuse at the hands of our parents, unfortunately, a lot of us end up going no contact. And when we do that, when we separate from our abuser or main abuser, inevitably somebody comes along, whether it's a family member or just somebody on the outside who's trying to get you back in, who's trying to justify the abuse, who's trying to make it like, but it's your mother, and that whole thing will make a comment that is extremely damaging and hurtful. I made a video the other day asking what's the worst thing that anybody has ever said to you about your abuser or going no contact, whatever it is within that situation. And I want to share with you a couple of the comments made by the same person who clearly to me is one of our people. Like they have survived that type of abuse and have gone no contact based on what the comments say. I want to go ahead and share them with you. So let's get into it, shall we? She was just strict. She did not want you to grow up spoiled. Take advantage of the time you have now to make amends because whatever you think, you will cry and miss her when she's gone. Yeah, let's go ahead and justify abuse. I didn't realize that being strict was abuse. When somebody says something like that to me, that's what I'll say in return. And that's part of the reason I wanted to pull up these comments, to give those of you who are in a place where you're not quite sure what to say when somebody throws something like that at you, and likely you go on the defensive trying to get heard, which is something that a lot of survivors struggle with. We want people to understand our experience because our experience, us going through that abuse, we were not heard as children. We couldn't tell. And when we did, we were diminished just like that. As adults, we carry that and we still want to be heard and understood. Somebody who makes a comment like that, they're either not going to understand or they don't care to understand. And the best thing that you can do to keep yourself safe and take yourself out of being triggered by that, because it is triggering, is to ask questions or make a statement in return that's got a question form to it. So you think that abuse and being strict are the same thing? Well, no, I don't. Well, I was abused, so I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, do you think that loving a child unconditionally and showing them care and lifting them up is spoiling them? Is that what spoiling a child is? So in order to not spoil a child, you should beat them down at every turn in every way that you can to make sure that they don't grow up feeling like they deserve anything. And just stare at that person. Just look at them. Look at them for the fool that they are, the insensitive fool that they are. And now let's get into the death thing. I was born to a dead parent. My parent was dead inside. I was born to a mother who is dead inside, but for the pleasure she got from emotionally violating me in every possible way that she could. Oh, and by the way, she was really creative. I already mourned her. I've already cried for her. I've cried for her love. I've cried for her affection. I've cried to understand why it was I wasn't good enough to receive her love. And you think that I should be the one who makes amends. I should be the one who's the bigger person, when at the time she was the bigger person, she was doing everything she could not to be my mother. I mourned never having a mother. And so that person you're talking about, they're already dead. When I was born, they were already dead. And for a person who says that to me, I'll say, so you think that when somebody abuses you, you should go to them and make amends. Is that what you think? That's really interesting. That's an interesting take on the world. And I'll do it like that. Because again, somebody who could say something like that likely doesn't want to understand. Because typically when they're saying something like that, especially if it's a family member, and I do that because family doesn't stand with abusers, they stand with the victims. Family is somewhere that you go to be safe. And safe people protect people. And by people, I mean the people who deserve and need the protection, right? So when somebody says something like that, I'm going to assume that they're just coming from a place and don't actually care, because intentions don't mean much to me. Actions mean something to me. But I'm going to assume that they're coming from a place where they're trying to suck me back in, because that is a suck me back in guilting statement. You're going to miss her when she's gone. I never had her. I miss that I didn't get a mom. I never had her. What am I going to miss? Being tortured emotionally? I'll also ask something like that. I'll say, what do you think I'm going to miss about her? Give me one quality, one something that I can miss about my mother. I would love to find something. That would make me feel a little bit better, because it would mean that she did something good. Give me something. Oh, she gave birth to you. Okay, well, I don't remember that experience, so carry on. That's how you deal with somebody who is coming at you with statements like that. And likely they're a flying monkey, right? There's somebody who's just trying to hoover you back in. And if they're not, it doesn't matter. Thank you for the comments. I really appreciate them. It gives us an opportunity to work through them, kind of like this is a giant group therapy. I know there was a time where if somebody said something like that to me, I wouldn't have had to respond like that. I would feel like I was the bad one. I would immediately go into, oh, I need to be the good little girl. Yeah, maybe you're right. And gaslight myself and blame myself and all of that. And because of that, I feel that it's a really good thing for us to share ways to respond to people. Whatever their intention is doesn't matter, because their actions are what counts most, that keep us safe and don't put us on the defensive where we don't deserve or need to be. You don't need to prove why it is you feel the way you do. And what they think about it is never going to be as important as what you know about it on the inside, what you know about yourself, what you know is the best way to serve yourself. What somebody else on the outside is never and should never be as important as what you know, period. And because of that, you don't owe somebody an explanation. Your energy in that way is earned. It's earned through somebody who is behaving like a safe person. And if they're not, then what they do is they get that thrown back at them so that they don't interact with you that way anymore. That keeps you safe. That creates a boundary without telling them you're creating a boundary. Thank you again. I will see you soon. And I appreciate you all being a part of this community. Keep making comments, because I know that oftentimes you guys are reading through the comments and responding to each other. And again, it's like a gigantic group therapy. And I think that that's a really good thing. So please keep interacting with these videos. And if there's something that you would like me to talk about or feature, leave it in the comment section and I will get to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much again, and I hope you have a day as amazing as you are. And you are amazing. You are making decisions to seek out things that help you to heal. You are showing that you care about yourself and that you love yourself and that you were always worthy. And because of that, I think you are amazing, because that's not easy to start to do. The healing journey is really hard. Facing all those pains is really, really difficult. And having to unlearn all the things that you were taught about yourself and learn how to love yourself is incredibly difficult. Been there, done that, still doing it. It's a lifelong journey. So I just want to say I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a day as amazing as you are. Talk soon. Bye-bye.